Hello, and welcome back to the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Keith. And today I wanted to do a quick bonus episode to tell you guys about the crazy energy that's going on right now and how you can harness that energy for quantum shifting. So, I want to start out with kind of what happened over the weekend, over the last few days, because it might make a lot of sense as to why you're feeling what you're feeling. But then I also want to get into the new moon, solar eclipse, retrograde that we're going through, and a tool that I created to kind of help take all this wild energy and harness it for quantum manifestation. Okay, so starting out with over the weekend and possibly into, well, I don't think today anymore. I think it was through the beginning of the week, there was a massive solar storm. And I can't remember if I talked about this on the podcast or if it was just in the mastermind, but there have been a lot of very significant solar storms, solar flares, really since that big eclipse that we had. Some of them, like the biggest that we've had in decades. And so basically, what happens is there are, solar flares and things like that that come off of the sun. And our Earth's electromagnetic field is like a shield. It keeps us from, that type of thing penetrating and harming us, in any way. Well, when the flares go off of the sun, it's usually like comes nowhere near Earth, but there's been a few that have just perfectly come like straight for us. And so when that hits the electromagnetic field, it can sort of weaken it. And it's temporary as far as I know. But basically, when that happens, it can cause a lot of different feelings like grogginess, fatigue, feeling irritable. And so, if you've been feeling any of that over the weekend or the beginning of the week, that is likely why. And this has happened multiple times since the eclipse. So, it's kind of wild, but if you ever have tracked the Schumann resonance or you follow anyone online that tracks the Schumann resonance, which the Schumann resonance is basically the Earth's vibration, you've seen some crazy stuff since the eclipse. And I'm talking about the eclipse that I think it was last year, right? It was like that massive eclipse. Or maybe it was even the year before, I'm not sure. But anyhow, the Schumann resonance goes wild when these solar flares and solar storms and things like that happen. A lot of people think that the Schumann resonance could be not just affected by things like solar storms, but also by us, the human collective, like our consciousness. And it could be moving based off of our vibration. So it's kind of like the Earth's vibration, and it could be an average of the whole, an average of where everyone's vibrational frequency is at. And the reason a lot of people think this is because when there's a massive event that takes place and people's emotions are high and, everyone's kind of like, oh my God, the Schumann resonance will spike. So it's very interesting. Nobody truly understands it fully. There's a lot of different theories, but anyhow, it's something you can track online. And I always like doing that and just seeing when it spikes and how that kind of plays into emotions that I've been feeling or world events or solar storms. It's really interesting. So part of the reason why I like doing these episodes and why I really got into understanding the moon cycles, eclipses, that kind of thing. And I don't go super into it. I'm not very into astrology. I get very confused with it. But for me personally, I noticed how my mood, things that I'd be feeling, things that happen in my life correlate with the cycles of the moon. And once I made that connection, I thought, okay, well, if I can understand what's happening before it happens, it kind of helps me not control the situation, but use the energy in a more positive way rather than letting it just wreak havoc on my life. Because, like the full moon, for example, I'll just be a raging bitch. Every time there's full moon, I'm a raging bitch. Now that I know that, and I know it really stirs up a lot of like rage and anger and things like that in me, I can kind of plan accordingly. I'm probably not going to go hang out with other people, or I'm going to kind of steer clear of my husband so I don't start a fight or something. So it's kind of like that. You can kind of anticipate, and everybody reacts differently. But the way that it makes sense for me is knowing, how the moon can affect the tides in the ocean, right? I remember my dad teaching me that when I was a little kid, and it always stuck with me how it can pull and create these massive waves, right? If it can do that, imagine what it's doing to us because we're made up of mostly water. And so it stirs up a lot inside of us. A lot of emotions can come to the surface with a full moon, for example. A new moon, which is what we're experiencing on March 29th, is a new cycle. It's like a new beginning, a new chapter, a fresh start. It's a great time for manifesting, for setting intentions. And then the solar eclipse, I always look at as a portal. It's a great time for quantum manifestation, quantum shifting, and I think of the eclipse as a portal. I think of the sun as a portal too. That's probably another conversation for another time. But if you're listening to this before the 29th or after the 29th, this energy is going to be here for at least a week. I mean, it's strong energy. You can work with this even if it's not on the 29th. And if it's far past the 29th and you're listening to this episode in the future, it's still good to understand what a new moon represents because you can use this with any new moon and with any solar eclipse. It's just kind of some good information to know. So anyhow, for the people that are listening to it today, we have it on the 29th, and I'm just looking at my phone to see. So that's Saturday. So this is like the perfect time to kind of prep for it. So the solar eclipse is, just think of it as amplifying the new moon. Okay, so the new moon has this fresh energy to start something new, to do the thing you've been thinking about doing, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, when you have the solar eclipse on top of that, just think of it as like amplifying that energy. Now, something I want to throw in there because a new moon is time for, new beginnings. However, there is a caveat because we have Mercury and Venus retrograde going on at the same time. Now, this can cause miscommunication. It can also cause technological glitches. So, for example, the podcast that I had with Amber earlier this week, I had all sorts of weird issues. Okay. So, I have a really good mic that I use all the time, never have any problems. I connect, and first of all, she couldn't like find the link at first, and it took a while to get on the call. But then when we got on the call, she was like, "Oh my God," like, I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Your voice, it was like echoey and staticky." And I'm like, "I just bought this mic. It is a fresh mic. There's no way it could be the mic." And she's like, "No, it's really bad." So we had to like switch to a different platform. And then we were like, "Oh, it's a Mercury retrograde," because weird stuff like that happens with technology. And you take that on top of the solar storm that probably played into it. But anyhow, it just can be sort of glitchy. So the rumor or superstition or whatever is that you really don't want to do anything major, like sign a contract, for example. Stay away from, if you can, signing contracts, doing things like that. I take everything with a grain of salt, okay? At the end of the day, trust your intuition. Trust how you're feeling. If something's telling you to hold off, then hold off. If this new moon energy is like, hell yeah, this is when I'm going to do it and start this thing, then start the thing. Trust yourself above anything else. I'm just giving you sort of the basic of what people say with retrograde. And it's just good to know, because if there are some communication glitches or tech glitches, instead of getting all upset about it, you can just kind of be like, oh yeah, it's retrograde. It's not a big deal. And that really helped me with the mic, because I'm like, I don't want to go and buy another $400 mic when I literally just bought this. And like, why is it glitching? It's brand new. But then as soon as I realized it was retrograde, it's like, okay, it's not the mic. It's fine. It'll work again. And it is. It's working now, and it's been working ever since. Okay, so this new moon is in Aries, which is a fire sign. Okay, so this could potentially bring some intense emotions, maybe even some heated emotions. So if you are feeling very emotional, just keep that in mind. Between that and the solar storm, like, you might be feeling all over the place. It's not you. It's not that you're crazy. It's not that you're losing your mind. It's just this stuff can really bring up different emotions that have probably been lingering below the surface that need to be felt so you can release them. And remember, emotions last no longer than 90 seconds if you just experience them and feel them. When they become a problem is when you try to push them down and not feel them and not look at them, that they get stuck and they become this stagnant energy. And that's where, it can cause some issues. So just let yourself feel whatever you're feeling, and just know, like, if you feel like you're all over the place, that's why. There's a lot of energy going on right now. And don't read too much into it. It's not you, it's just this energy. Okay, so what's happening with this new moon solar eclipse is this Aries Libra eclipse cycle from April of 2023 is coming to an end. Okay, so we're closing out a 2-year cycle. So something you can do is journal on this, or meditate on it, or go for a walk outside and think about it, which is what I like to do. Think about what has been going on in your life for the past 2 years. This chapter is coming to a close, and it's time to open up a new chapter. So think about the past 2 years, and you can think about how you've evolved, things that didn't go well, things that went well. What do you want to continue? What do you want to discontinue? And use that knowledge, that feedback, to get really intentional about where you're headed in this new cycle. So likely you've evolved over the last 2 years in your relationships, in your identity. You might be feeling more guided to show up authentically, to really like step into your purpose, to just be real, to just be free to be who you are. That's a big thing starting this year, just with the age of Aquarius and everything else. So if you're feeling that, run with it. Run with it. Do not hide from it. A lot of people are still sort of scared to show the real side of them, their truth, because of the whole cancel culture in 2020. That's over. Okay, that is over. People are craving realness and authenticity. So just be yourself. Quit trying to please everyone, because you're going to please no one doing that, and you're certainly not going to please yourself. So really allow yourself to step into that authentic energy and purpose, and move forward with whatever has been brewing inside of you. Now is the time to start, to get going, to show up. You can pull, I love pulling oracle cards to get some guidance. The girls in the mastermind have been doing this. We do this on our calls, but they've been getting all sorts of signs that are very aligned with the things that they've been wanting to do, but just kind of holding off on for whatever reason. So you can always pull a card to just get some more validation and clarity, or you can ask the universe to give some guidance. Ask for a sign. Is now the time I should start my online business, this new relationship, like whatever it is, this new social media account? And you can ask for a specific sign as confirmation, or pull a card. And by the way, I know I've done an episode, probably many episodes on this, but when you ask for a sign, you will get an answer. So just start asking. It's remarkable how much clarity you'll gain. Okay, so I would get out a journal. If you can now, great. If not, just come back to it later. Actually, come back to it later, because I also created a new moon solar eclipse guided visualization. So I would journal do the visualization and then maybe journal a little bit more after that. I've got some great frequencies in there that will help you gain some clarity. So, what you're going to do when you journal is you're going to look at that span of the last 2 years, okay? And think about it as like this chapter of my want to repeat. Like, what am I going to leave behind? So, think about what you want to change moving forward, what you want to leave behind, what in your life are you shedding? Like, what limitations do you want to shed? What mindset aspects do you want to shed? Think about relationships in your life. Is there a relationship that is coming to an end and you kind of have sensed it, but maybe you've been putting it off? So anything like that, you're just going to want to think like, how can the past guide me so that I can do things better moving forward? And then on the flip side of that, you're also going to look at what went well. Like, what have I been building over the last 2 years that's going to serve me really well that I want to keep running with? How have I evolved and grown and changed over the last 2 years? And what identity do I want to have in this new chapter? Are there aspects of me that I want to upgrade or update moving into this new chapter so that I'm open to receiving all of the things that I want to receive that maybe I wasn't ready for, but now I'm stepping into this new identity. I'm gaining more confidence, more authenticity, and it's time to accept those things. So ask yourself that. And then it's kind of like, I feel like when there's a big, messy chalkboard and you take the eraser and you wipe it clean, that's what I think of during this time. It's like all the old stale energy is going to move away. You're clearing it all out, clearing the space for new things to come in. And so once you use the past to sort of guide you, you can then get really clear and set some intentions for this new chapter. And don't overthink it. Like, just think about, you know, where you want to be just for this next chapter. You don't have to have your whole life figured out. You don't have to know 5 years from now, 10 years from now what you want. Just this next chapter, where are you headed? Just take one step at a time. Your intuition will guide you each step of the way. So just get clear on this next phase, this next step in the very near future, and let that sort of guide you. So I have a guided visualization. You can get it inside the Manifest It Now app. So you can just go to the app stores, search Manifest It Now. You can also go to the lawofattractiontribe.com and you'll see the link there. And I put it in a couple of different places. So the app got a total makeover. If you haven't been in it recently, it's been in my mind for a long time. I switched it up at the beginning of the year and then I wasn't feeling it. I changed it again and I absolutely love it. I absolutely like, this is what's been in my head and it's now in the app. So it's just a whole new look and feel. But one of the things that I did towards the top is I added a featured content section. And when you go into that section, you'll see at the very top, it'll say new content. So every month, as I put fresh new content into the app, you'll be able to find it there. And then I also put it in its respective categories. So this new moon visualization will be under new content, and then it'll also be in the moon rituals section. So you can go and check that out. I also had Nikki Lanigan on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and she put in a positive affirmations meditation. So you can find that under new content as well. It's awesome. It's like something to really get you in a good, positive mindset. It's great to listen to at the start of the day. It's only like 5 minutes. And it just gives you that little positive pick me up. So go check those out. And then, like I said, get clear, journal, go for a walk, meditate, whatever you need to do, and really get clear. And again, you don't have to do this all on the 29th. Use this energy throughout the week and ask for signs to help guide you if you're feeling stuck or lost or just need that confirmation. Okay, so I hope that helps, and I'll see you back here next time. Thanks for tuning in.